Alright guys, my name is Chris Gutierrez from Metro Valley Ambulance, longtime paramedic, longtime power stroke mechanic. I'm going to show you these two matching units here. These are both wheeled coach Ford E450s, 2006, and the one on the left here has 113,000 miles. The one on the right has 128,000 miles. I also have a third one with 106,000 miles, which I'm actually painting the sides. The sides of these have already been painted. If you can see, you know, the paint's in really good condition. We reshot the side so you can't read what it used to say, so it's a blank slate for your graphics and, you know, whatever it is that you're going to put on there. And for both of these have been repainted. The third one still in the paint shop, but I wanted to go ahead and get a video up to get some interest in these. And then the third one's identical. It's just there's no difference at all. That has 106,000 miles. It's also 2006. And yeah, so I'm going to give you a tour. We're going to go through all the exterior compartments, then we're going to go to the patient compartment, the cab, look at the engine underneath the undercarriage, and the wheel wells at the tires, everything. We're going to drive them around, and you're going to have a more comprehensive look at these things than if you were here looking at them. So let's go ahead and start with the higher mileage one. This is 128,000 miles, great condition. This is the O2 compartment. You can see there's it's set up for an M tank. You cannot put an H tank in here, so if you use an H tank, you'd have to change the brackets out to accommodate an H tank. It's tall enough for an H tank. You just couldn't put one with this particular rack. You'll also see there's a battery charger behind that grate back there. So if you have for your shoreline hookup, you know, you plug it in there, turn it on there. You can just always leave it on. You can see how charged the battery is there, and that is that. The other one does not have that, or the 06. It's the only one of the three that has that. You'll also notice on the inside of these compartments, it's sprayed with a Line-X type truck bed coat, and it helps buffer the sound inside. It also helps retain the heat and cool on the inside, so it makes for a quieter ride and a warmer or cooler ride than your regular rig. So there's that compartment. Here is space for extrication tools or restock supplies there. Pretty large space. This is a backboard compartment, and you can see there's a divider there with 3 shelves. You can put headbeds or C-collars or whatever you use to secure heads there. Several backboards on this side. A scoop stretcher will fit in there, and whatever else you want to put there. I should mention also, when the engine's running, all of those lights will come on the second, as soon as you open the compartment door. We'll get in the back in a minute. Over here, this is a space for, you can put turnout gear here if you're a fire department. You know, your helmet and turnouts and whatnot. Down here there's space for SCBAs, 2 of them, and you can see that there. There's also room for 3 oxygen cylinders for D-tanks in that rack right there. You can see it's kind of made for that. You can't put an E-tank, those are too tall for this compartment, but it'll hold 3 D cylinders. There's that. Over here we have jump bag compartment. This is where you would have your you know, everything you're taking into your rescue, your trauma bag, your portable suction, your monitor, and all that stuff. There's a charging station for a SCORE portable suction unit right there, and it also has reach through, so you can access all this stuff from inside. Down below there's a slide out tray for batteries. There are 3 batteries in there. Those are Odyssey deep cell batteries. Those are like $350 a pop. There's like $1,000 worth of batteries right there. And it has a slide out tray. You can just slide it out, but it's pretty heavy. I don't want to Don't want to do that. So let me get this thing fired up so we got juice to the back, and then we'll start going through everything in the back. I should also mention all of the radios. I'll explain it more when we get back here, but the radio heads that you see, the ones here and the ones in the back, they're staying with the unit. And I'll go into that further. Also, if you need a battery charger or an inverter, which this unit doesn't have, none of these units have inverters, we can install a Xantrex inverter if you need that. It's a slash inverter battery charger. It's EMS, 1800 watt. It's rated for, KKK standards for ambulance use. If you need that. If you don't need that, and you only really need that if you're running a ventilator or some type of medical device. If you're just charging gurney batteries or radio batteries or monitor batteries, you could get by with a 1000 watt inverter. Those are like $300, and we'll charge you $200 to put it in. So $500 for that if you need it. So here's the back. So should I guess I'll just go ahead and go to the action wall. So the action wall is this here. Again, like I said, the radios are staying with the unit along with the hand mics and the speakers and all that stuff. They're not operational. The brain of the units has been removed, which was in that compartment there. So these are just the radio heads and all of the stuff you see here. So let's get into our switches. This is the heat for heat or cool. That's the thermostat. That's what decides if what the temperature is going to be. You just dial that in, and then it comes out from the top here. It's on medium. That's low, and that's high. You can probably hear that. So there's that, and then that's the speed control switch right there. The dome lights, those are high, so you can see those over there. High, off, low. This side won't go off because the back doors are open, but you can see that there's the low, there's the high, and those all work there. And then there's a additional light here if you're working on patient care reports and you need extra light. It's got a fluorescent right there. The oxygen system. Oh yeah, I didn't point out in the oxygen compartment over there. You'll see there's two lines. There's a regulator in there. There's two lines coming off of it. There's a high pressure line, and that is so you can see how much is in the tank from right here, from sitting right here. There's no tank in there, so it's reading 0. Here's your oxygen ports. There's 2 there. There's 1 over there if you have a patient on the bench seat. You don't have to deal with this if you don't want to. You can just leave it on. As soon as you open your flow meter, it'll start flowing. If you don't run a lot of calls, if you're a slower area, you can either turn that to off or you can leave it to on and just push that button, the oxygen button, and then it'll only flow when you do that. It just prevents your tank from leaking. If your rig's sitting at the unit for days before you run a call or whatnot. The exhaust fan, there's that there. If there's any odors back here that you don't want to be back here, it's sucking from there. And there's one over here. So there is that. That's the exhaust fan. We have suction over here. You can hear the motor come on. This is our suction regulator over here. I'm just putting my finger on top of the suction canister as if there were a hose connected. If you want to strengthen it or make it not as strong, you just dial it in with that knob right there. There's the suction. It's got powered door locks, which is right there. And you'll see, if you look at that little knob right there, that's a pretty convenient feature. If you see somebody, irate family member trying to get in the back, you can lock them out. So there is that. There's also additional buttons for that over here. There's also a timer, so you know, if you got your dome lights on, you're pulling up to the hospital, you want to start shutting everything down. You can set the timers there. There's also another door controller there. So that's everything for our switches. There's also another dimmer switch right next to the thermostat there. And that is the action wall. There's a Sharps container there, blood pressure cuff. And there is that. Up above, you'll see there's a lot of storage there with the adjustable shelf. Some of it's labeled. You can pull those labels off, but you'll probably set it up the same way with adult BVM, infant BVM, your nasal cannulas, O2 masks and stuff up there. Whatever you want to put down below there. A big counter space. The CPR seat also comes down if you need more counter space. And then you can do that if you need to. And then, oops, let me get that back in this place. And then there's that. Underneath the CPR seat, the shallow area for, I don't know, pillows, or a blanket, or emesis basins, urinals, bedpans, that kind of stuff. Over here, there's two more spaces for stuff. There is an adjustable shelf here. If you want to, break the space in half. There's two large drawers here. So you can customize those however you want. There's a little shallow space here for extra belts or restraints. Above the rear doors, there's space that's kind of the perfect size for extra boxes of gloves. Underneath the bench seat, there's like IV drawer, and you can put your Tegaderm and your tourniquets and 4x4s, all your stuff for IV starts right there. Underneath the bench seat, there's a big space for pillows, blankets, EKG leads, pads, traction splint, a Sager or a hair traction splint will fit under there if you want to keep that inside. There's that. This cushion needs to be shoved over. Let's see what else. This is the ALS wall. Oh yeah, there's a big beefy armrest if you want to put that down. Let's keep it up out of the way. This is the ALS wall. That's the portable score suction charging station that I mentioned. There's a drawer here. Put whatever you want there. A big file folder space. You can put a file rack in there for patient care reports or refusal of treatment or accident reports, whatever you want to do. The jump seat has an integrated child seat. You can see that there is a tear right there, and you can see the edges there. It's starting to crack a little bit. This is just a cover. You can order that separately from the manufacturer if you want. This isn't that bad, really. Usually I see these things really torn up. This one's not in too bad a shape. So there's that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, let me show you the electronics. This is the electronics are up here, and you can see that's where all the relays are. There's some bus bars over there. I really like Wheeled Coach electronics. Let me show you in here. And here's solenoid, more bus bars, and very simple to fix. Your fleet mechanic will like this this rig. It's one of the reasons why I like Wheeled Coach. They're my favorite coach builder for Type 1 and Type 3s. There isn't anything too crazy about their ambulances. For example, these switches, those are $8 switches. So if one of those goes bad, and they do go bad occasionally, it's $8 to switch it out. You know, some of the ambulances like Horton, Road Rescue, and some AEV rigs, they have these really beautiful looking digital panels where all the buttons are kind of integrated into a panel. But if one of those buttons wears out, the whole panel's shot. You can't just pop the button out and replace it. That whole panel has to be replaced, and it can cost anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 to replace the panel. I've had that problem before with a Horton And it's one of the reasons why I stay away from Horton ambulance, is just because the electronics are too complicated. So all the stuff that's on a wheeled coach you can get from O'Reilly or Pep Boys or Napa, any auto parts store carries the kind of stuff that's in, including these switches. You can order that from Napa. You know, it's very, very simple. And that way, if you live in Kearney, Nebraska, or wherever, you don't have to worry about, you know, trying to get parts for this thing. So this is the back. Let's go take a look at the front, and then I'll show you that other ambulance. I'm going to turn this thing around so the sun isn't in our face. Let me just do this with one hand real quick. Alright. Okie doke. One hand in this. Alright. Okay. Alright. That should help. Okay, so up here we have air conditioning, which it's 80 degrees in LA today, so I'm looking forward to putting this on. That is the air conditioner. It's on high right now. Here, this is the speed selector. You can probably hear it coming out. And there's 2 medium settings and low. There's that. And then you have normal AC. You can hear the actuator door moving. Vent. Off. Floor. Mix. And defrost. There's that. There's an AM/FM radio with Tears for Fears or whoever that was. Or Simple Minds, that's what it was, Simple Minds. Let me just show you the odometer real quick. This is 128. Look at that. The camera doesn't like to get that close. And I have such horrible eyesight. 128. Is it 128 or 120? I think it's it's 128,002.2. So 128,000 miles on the nose. There's that, and there's a map light here. So, and it's on a dimmer, so you can see it right there. It's got a little filter, so if you want to go stealth mode and put the red filter over, you can slide it over. And it's dimmable, so you can, you know, dim it down. If you want to make it romantic for you and your partner. Again, those radio heads are staying here. They're inoperable. The brains have been removed. All you have here are just the heads. The first row of switches, that's your emergency lights. You can have everything preset and then just throw the master. This row down here is non-emergency. This is like your floodlights, the scene lights, the rear patient heat. You might be able to hear I just turned the air conditioner. You know, a lot of times your partner forgets to turn it off and you're driving back to the station. You're like, hey, you left the thing on, idiot. You can turn it off from here. Then the siren, powered up. Whale, Yelp, T3. It's got a PA system right here. You can see that. Testing. You can probably hear that. There's that. The center console, this has an aluminum top, so if you wanted to, I don't know, you know, some fire departments and EMS agencies, they got, you know, a HERE radio, they got, you know, mutual aid radio, they've got their own dispatch radio, they got a police radio. If you need to mount radios inside, you know, if you need to cut into this, you can. There's nothing underneath here. There is space for patient care reports, clipboard, stuff like that. Oh yeah, there's also a spotlight, so if you're trying to find an address and it's dark, and you can use that. But you can mount radios there. It's got power windows, of course. I think everything does nowadays, right? Power mirrors, which is one of my favorite features in the world. You can see the mirror over there going. There's that. Oh, where on this side, you can see that one moving around. Okay, it's got power door locks. You can see those going over there. Oh yeah, and then when you unlock the doors, this works everything. So all the exterior compartments get unlocked, and all the entryways to the back lock or unlock from these locks up here. Let's see, we got what else? Windshield wipers. You see, there's the spray, and then you got really fast. And then a bunch of, settings in the middle. Let me put the emergency lights on, and let me turn on all of the scene lights and stuff, and we'll go out and look at that. Okie dokie. So, the sun might get in our face. One thing I've noticed that my shutter speed, it can't keep up with how fast all the strobes go. These are programmable LED lights. They're clear lenses, they burn red. These have like 22 different flash patterns. So if you don't like what they're doing, you can change them to something else. Here's what they're doing out here. And then you can see the side floodlights are on. The magnifier 3000, it's magnifier 9000. I can't forget what the model is on this. HID light, it takes about a minute for it to get up to its full intensity, and then once it does, you can't even look at it. It's pretty bright. So all these LED lights are programmable. We got in the back light bar, there's rotors. On the outsides, there's amber flashers. In the middle, there's the clear load lights, and then that middle light's a third brake light. And then, these tail lights, the brake lights, these are LED also, and they're programmable to a point. You can make them just come on solid when you step on the brake, or you can make them do that little flutter flash before they go solid. There's a couple different variations of that. These ones just go on solid when you step on the brake. And then there's that HID, that's about up to its full brightness. And there's that. And in the front we got the rotors with a mixture of LEDs that are in the corners. And looks like I got a slow rotor. I'm going to have to look into that. It's probably touching the top of the lens. I'll have to investigate that and see what's up. But those are the lights. Oh, it also has headlight wigwags. So, let me turn this off. All this stuff is so loud you can't hear me. But the wigwags won't engage until you put it in drive. That way, if your vehicle's sitting in park, you're not blowing everybody out with your high beam wigwags. Let me show you the tires. They're like brand new. Actually, I think one or two of these is brand new. And then you can also see there's no rust. If you look into the back toward the frame, and you can see this tire is one of the brand new ones. It still has all the little fuzzy little knobs on it. And then if you see back there into the frame area, zero rust, and it's in great condition. And back here, same situation. Nice tires, no rust. Even the leaf springs are clean. Let me show you the undercarriage real quick. See under there. Yeah. And then you can see that, the tread, and the frame back there. And yeah, I think we just about covered everything on this guy. I still have some sunlight, so I'm going to show you this other ambulance. I'll be back with you in just a minute.